Doing today? Don't all answer at once, it's okay, no problem. You know, giving a microphone or a platform to an attorney is really probably a dangerous thing. This is supposed to be, and I'm only going to do a short discussion on vision. And giving an attorney, once again, a short discussion is like an oxymoron. I'm not going to be able to talk about all the topics. I wanted to talk about vision, income, productivity, delegating, and DOS, which would be dangers, opportunities, and strengths. I'm just the preview for the main show, which will be Irene, who will talk to you about marketing. I'm only going to talk about vision, because I think that's the most important thing. When I'll do a lecture here, I usually talk about these 5 things. I'm only going to talk about vision. Once again, I think that's one of the main specific building blocks of a practice. How many of you are basically thinking about opening up your own practice or being an entrepreneur? Kind of raise your hand. Come on. Some of you. No? Okay. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to touch upon some practical issues, stories, tactics, and tools. And rather than talking to you about my past experiences, I think you can look at the handouts. And if you take a look at the handouts, I have some shameless self-promotion. Doesn't want to go down, paging. Let's try it. There you go. There's an article about me, and I'm proud of my CV. And I'm just going to say you can read about me. I'm not going to give you everything that I've done. I don't think it's necessary. At the outset, I'd like to basically share with you my favorite expression. The past is history, the future is a mystery, the present is a gift. And I'm hopeful that today will be a gift on you at least exploring some of the stuff that you should be exploring as a young attorney, or even as an older attorney. I'm also going to tell you my favorite expression and equation, which is E plus R equals O. The event plus the response equals the outcome. And I'm hopeful that this discussion will be a positive experience for you, and that you'll be able to take some of this stuff back so you can improve your life. I'm going to briefly talk to you about what happened with me, and then you can decide what happens with you in the future. About 14 years ago, I was the senior partner in the firm of Kurtzman, Lipton, Matera, Gurak, and Scuderi. It's almost like Hungaduga, 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 and McCormick. And I'm sitting with about 120 negligence cases. I basically had a negligence practice and a criminal practice, former prosecutor, former public defender, and I was sitting with about 50 or 60 criminal cases. They also had me doing some commercial cases. And that day, I remember the day exactly when my life kind of turned around a little bit. I live in Rockland County, not too far up north. I know we're considered the sticks, but we're really not. We're really suburbia. And my wife and I are walking up in the Ramapo Mountains where we used to go. And it was right around 9/11. It was just after it. And the world was like in mass confusion. And we're walking up the hill, and my wife is looking at me, and she sees me huffing and puffing. And I said, "What's wrong?" And she says, "You look a little gray, Gar." So I said, "I'm okay. Come on, let's just keep on walking." Well, she goes back to my best friend, who's my doctor, and he calls me in, and he says, "Hey, Gar, I want to see you now." I said, "You know what, Rick? I'm going for what? I want to see you now, Gar. Come on in." He takes a bunch of tests for me, and he says, "You know what? I don't like the way you're sounding. You're going to a cardiologist." So I go to the cardiologist, and the cardiologist says, "I don't like the way the tests are looking. You have some heart problems. We're sending you down to Columbia Presbyterian." Now, I'm only 46, 47 years at the time, and I'm saying, "What's going on?" And they start talking about a quadruple bypass. And I'll tell you, having 10 attorneys in the office, with 30, 35 people in the office doing a fair amount of work, it's a lot of stress. And at that point in time when the doctor said, hey, we're bringing you in, and can I tell you a little quick funny story? The doctor brings me in, wheels me in, and he says, Gary, you have any questions? I know you're friendly with Dr. Roth, who is my cardiologist, but I know he answered all the questions. Do you have any questions? I say, yeah, doc, I have one question. He says, what's that? I said, do you like me? He looks at me and he says, no, Gary, don't worry. No. He said, just tell me you like me, doc. And he says, yeah, we like you. We'll take care of you. So I go in, and I'm lucky. I ended up with only 3 stents. And hopefully I don't have to have that quadruple bypass. I know what my father went through, and I decided basically at that point in time, you know what? I don't want to be the richest person in the grave. And I made a decision about 5-6 months later. I made a decision to leave my very lucrative practice, buy 2 condo offices, open up my own office, and now I take only the cases I like doing. It also brought me on this journey, so to speak. The journey was basically, I ended up in Chicago. Gar, how did you end up in Chicago? Well, I ended up in Chicago because one of my friends, who's my personal financial person, my person, so to speak, said, Gary, you got to go to this course, Strategic Coach. So I ended up taking this course, Strategic Coach, and for the last 14 years or so, I've been a member of Strategic Coach, talking about basically how entrepreneurs develop their own business, how they are able to survive this complex world that we're in, and how much it's been changing, and how we're able to move from one business to another business. So for the last 14 years, I've been going out to Chicago every 3 months and learning how to run businesses better. I have probably about 45, 50 people that are pretty well-to-do entrepreneurs, and we talk about how do you develop business better. And one of the things basically is, what is your business? What do you love doing? What is your unique ability? What is your vision? So, as a novice 14 years ago, I create a mission statement. My mission statement is basically, I love the idea of helping people out. I think that's one of the reasons why I became an attorney, is basically to improve people's lives by developing strategic solutions to maximize legal results in business in a cost-effective, well-planned, and efficient manner. My secretaries, my whole staff knows basically that's what we do. That's what we're accountable for. That's what we like doing. So I'm only going to talk about this. If you want to hear my full lecture, you're going to have to come another day to listen to me, okay? I'm only going to talk about vision. And I think what you have to do is you have to prepare a mission statement for yourself. And I don't think I can prepare, or anybody else can prepare, a mission statement for yourself other than you. And it's got to be specific for you. I do 3 things. I only want to do 3 things. Anybody calls me up about a divorce or family law, even though I did it and I was involved in family court and I was an assistant county attorney way back when there was horse and buggies, I don't do it. I won't touch a family court case. I hear somebody call me up, a client of mine, and says, hey, Gar, can you do it? It goes right out of my office to another attorney who I believe can do it a much better job and who will be much more interested in it. I only do my criminal law, my personal injury, and my business law. That's all I want to do. That's all I do. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to share with you a story. In a long, long time ago, there were 2 Indian groups. There were the Indian warriors, there were the mountain Indians, and there were the valley Indians, the farmers. And this one particular winter was a bad winter. You know those winters that seem to last until May, sometime June? You know those winters that the temperature goes down to about 0 degrees for a number of days, and it keeps on snowing. Well, it's a bad, bad winter. And the warrior Indians, they're really sparse of food. And what are they going to do when the spring comes? So when the spring comes, they go down there and they raid the valley Indians who are farmers, their food. And one of them basically takes a baby. So the valley Indians now say, we have to go up to the mountains and get our food. We have to go up to the mountains and get that baby boy that they took. And they take basically 30, 40 of the fiercest Indians, and they start to go up the mountain. And they start talking, and the first day they get up about 20, 30, 40 feet up the mountain. They're slow. The next day they go up another 50 feet, and the next day, and by the week's end, they may be up there maybe 200 feet up the mountain, and they're now starting to talk. You know, those warrior Indians, they're really tough. They know how to fight. And we never really learned how to fight. We're just farmers. And they start to walk up a little bit further, and 2 weeks elapse. And then they see this little Indian squaw going up the mountain. And she kind of passes them. She goes up the mountain a bit more. And then all of a sudden, about 2 hours later, they hear all sorts of commotion, all sorts of noise up there. And I said, what's going on? And about a half hour later, this Indian squaw is coming down with this baby boy. And they look at the Indian squaw and they say, gee, here we have 30, 40 of our fiercest Indians, and you go up there and you get the baby. How did you do that? And she looks at them and she says, it's not your baby. You got to find your baby. You got to find your baby boy or your baby. You got to find the thing you love to do, your unique ability, your vision, and nobody can find it but you. And that's the one thing I hope you take with today. As an entrepreneur, there's 4 things. If you're going to work for a law office, or you're going to work for yourself, or you're going to work for someone else, you got to do 4 things. And I try to simplify everything. I like acronyms, as you can tell. What you have to do is you first have to say what you're going to do. The second thing you have to do is finish what you say you're going to do. The third thing is hello and goodbye. And the fourth thing is be thankful. Those are the 4 major things that you want to develop relationships, any relationships. So what I'd like to talk about at this point in time is goals. Anybody ever work out with goals what you want to do? Anybody at all? Yes, no, maybe. In our group, there you go. In our group, basically, we talk about goals being SMART. By SMART, once again, acronym, specific, measurable, articulable, reasonable, and time-oriented. We want to make goals very, very smart. So what I want you to do, and I want you to team up, okay? To the left of you, okay? The person to the left of you. I'd like each of you to come up with 3 goals that you would like to do for your life. 3 goals that you would want to do. Lifetime goals, and what are you going to do in the next 90 days to start to achieve that particular goal? And I'm going to give you maybe 5, not even 5, 3 minutes. Just write down on a piece of paper real quickly 3 goals you want to accomplish in your life. What?
What does it have to do with the 2 of us if we are separate people?
You're going to team up with it. Just write it down first, and then you're going to discuss it briefly. Okay? Come on, guys. I'd just like to take a quick time out. I'd just like to take a quick thing. Can I just have one or two people want to raise their hand about what they really, really want to do in life? Because that's a lifetime goal. Anybody have anything really different?
Really different?
Really, my friend wanted to be a shepherd. No. Or zookeeper. Anything different? Anything that they really, really want to do and haven't been able to do? One of the things I have, okay, on income when I do a lecture is talk about how to become a millionaire. But I'm not going to do that today. You have to come to the next lecture. Anybody else?
Stay active and healthy.
Stay active and healthy. Okay. So I actually do this for the last 14 years, every 3 months, I actually wrote out this. Quarter goals, 1 year goals, 3 year goals, lifetime goals. And one of the things was to stay healthy. And what do you do to stay healthy? Eat right, work out. I actually worked out this morning, an hour. Not as much as I usually do, but I did work out. Didn't do the weights. But what you do is you goal it out. What are you going to do for the next 90 days to make sure that you've developed habits? Habits basically arise after 21 days of doing it. So get in the habit of working out if you want to stay healthy. Eat healthy. None of the sodas. I stopped having soda a while ago, although I did have some last night. We went to the Yankee game with my granddaughter, and it was fun. And she's only 2. We got her already rooting for the Yanks. I'm going to have Jose send a copy of this thing known as the Pocket Coach to you. What it does is basically it talks about quarter goals, 1 year goals, 3 year goals, lifetime goals. It talks about special projects you could do within 90 days. And then I have a bunch of clients for criminal cases, personal injury cases, referrals clients, money clients, prospect clients, and then all my business clients. And I set them up. I try to call them every quarter. Why? Because your business is very important in relationships. And unless you keep relationships going, you lose the client. So I try to call them up every quarter. There are a bunch of books that I would stress. How much time do I have? Do I have much? Oh, okay, great. There are a bunch of things, books that I would suggest you reading, because I know I'm only here for a little while. If you're planning to open up your new business, there's a book known as The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Excellent book. I know it as Sweeper, Synergy, Win-Win or No Deal, Empathetic Communication, End in Mind, Being Proactive, Personal Management, and Referral. And the end in mind always helps me out because I do a fair amount of litigation. And I used to be annoyed. I can't get this case moving along. We're going to have to do this, we're going to have to do this. And I used to really stress over it. The end in mind, the idea of win-win or no deal really kind of freed me up. Because now, if I see the other attorney being impossible to deal with, I stop the communications. It's not my problem anymore. We'll just litigate. And that's it. That's the bottom line. And I don't hassle it anymore. I know I don't longer think, well, can I move this? Do I do this? Do I do this? There's no more discussions about it. He wants to come to me and start talking to me, that's fine. But it really stopped a lot of my problems is stressing on these things. The E-Myth is a very good book if you're thinking about opening up your own business. You got to know that you have to delegate. You can't do everything yourself. And that's by Michael Gerber. There's a book, Strength Finders, which tells you or kind of talks about what your true or unique ability is. We deal with what's known as the Colby system, which is it divides people up into 4 different categories. Fact finder, implementer, quick starter, follow-upper. And we try to divide it up so We know when our secretaries, what secretaries we want, okay? And you say, why are you saying that? Well, if you have everybody that's a quick starter, you're never going to get things done. You want somebody who's going to be a follow-upper. And I've hired a lot of people making sure that they don't do the same thing I do. The other book I thought would be interesting is The Automatic Millionaire, which is a really fine book on income. Did anybody ever talk to you about what kind of clients you should be taking? Yes, no, maybe? Don't all answer at once. I'm going to give you a system. It's one of my favorite systems. It's known as UCare. Unique ability. Compensate. Appreciate. Referrals. And enhancement of the business. Would anybody like to help me at least write down something? Because I just want to give you an example and then we can go from there. Who would like to at least? Don't all?
Right on the board?
Yeah, could you write on the board, please? Thank you. Appreciate that. Anybody have a tough client or anybody have a client that they want to know whether they should take the client or not? I don't want to, just give me the first name of the client. And don't all, once again, don't all answer at once. Yeah, anybody have a tough client that you're dealing with? Yes, no, maybe? Come on. How about you? You have a client that you don't know whether you're going to take or not take? How about you, sir, up there? You have a tough client? Yes, no? You? Come on.
Margarita.
Huh?
Margarita.
Okay, Margarita. What do you love doing? What's your field that you like doing?
What's my field I like doing? Litigation.
Litigation. Does she help you with the litigation? Are you involved with her in litigation?
Yes.
1 to 5, how would you rate her?
2.
Put down 2. Right there. Does she compensate you 1 to 5? With 5 being the best.
Compensate like money-wise?
Yeah. 4. Does she appreciate you 1 to 5? 2? Okay. Does she give you referrals 1 to 5?
Not applicable. So 1.
1. And does she enhance your business? 1 to 5.
2.
Okay. So what we have is we have an amount of 11. Anybody who's 17 to 25 is an ABC client. Anybody under 15 is a D&E client. You want to get rid of your D&E clients. I hate to say this. You want to get rid of your D&E clients and you want your ABC clients. That's what you want to deal with. That's who you want to deal with. You want relationships. It's a neat little trick and it really helps. Anybody else want to go over a client with me, please? Please? We could do one more. Yes, no, maybe. Anybody have a good client they want to do? Because I want to show you how you can make it even better. You have a good client? Yes, no, please. Anybody else? Don't all answer once. Come on. You have a good client that you have?
I just get assigned.
Back? Okay. Either one. I don't care. Okay, bad client. Well, give me a good client. What's the client?
I don't want to say the name. Let's
First name. I don't care about.
okay. Well, the client's company. So
Okay, so X company, okay? X company. Does that client allow you to do your unique ability? What do you like doing?
I'm a commercial litigator.
Okay, does that company allow you to do what you like doing?
Yes.
1 to 5.
1 to 5. 4.
Okay, 4. Compensate you well? 1 to 5.
4.
Appreciate you? 1 to 5. Oh, we got a good one. We refer you, 1 to 5.
3.
And enhance your business, 1 to 5. Do you learn or what have you? I'll give you an example.
Give me an example.
We had a case which was a prevailing rate case. And I was working out a deal for, the person was being charged with a pretty heavy crime. And the person also, the company actually was owned by a person who was an immigrant who was going to be asked to leave the country if convicted. We were able to work the case out, and as a matter of fact, what ended up happening is another person came into my office, and since I did some investigation on how that particular county was working with these people, I was able to tell the client that just came in, I know everything about your case, because I did. I knew exactly what was happening, and I ended up picking up the client. So the first case really enhanced my business. Does that person that you learn from the person that you're able to? 4. So we have 19, right? 17 to 25 ABC clients, right? Now, how do we use this information? Thanks a whole lot. What's your name?
I'm Nathan.
Nathan, thanks a lot, man. Okay, so how do we do this? What I would do is I look at my 20 to 25 companies or clients, and I try to model them. Where did I get this particular client from? And where can I get these clients more from? Because they're great clients, and I want them. And that's how you try to develop your own practice or business. It's really good stuff. You ready? Okay. I'm going to leave, like I said, I'm just a preview, and I'm sorry I don't get a chance to talk to you about how to become a millionaire or anything else, but there are really neat little tricks that you can do at the beginning. Pension, real estate, rainy day fund, and fund funds. Think about it. I hope our little journey and this start helps you basically. And I want you to, there's a great little expression. Remember, just when the caterpillar thought the journey was over, it became a butterfly. I thought that was a really neat little statement. And I'm reminded by one of my favorite expressions of all time. You never miss a good chance to shut up. Thank you. Have a good day.